In a weekend of shocks and, well, some not so shocks, let's be honest. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. We're here to discuss the weekend's Premier League action. As West Ham United news, Tottenham draw, Man United lose, plenty of other stuff to get going with this weekend. Before we get into it, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, check out our channel sponsors here on West Ham Unofficial. SRM Carver and Son by clicking the link in the description down below. I'm here with Shaun, as always. No Josh this week, but Shaun is here. Shaun, how are you?
Good evening. I'm good, mate. Not too bad at all. Not bad for Monday, start of a new week and all that.
Indeed. Let's see who we have in the chat. Paul, hope you're well. Charlie, hope you're keeping well. Did someone say, well, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? Come on, that's a bit harsh. Terry, hope you're well, my friend. I haven't grown much since yesterday. That's an inside joke. I'm so hungry. Jake has vouchers. Yeah, say what, Charlie, if you do not have the McDonald's app, it's the way to go. It is the way to go. Right, let's get into it then. Let's stop talking about McDonald's and let's start talking about Aston Villa 2, Everton 1 is where we start, Shaun.
Was that the early games? We didn't have a Friday night game, did we? So
yeah, 12:30 Sunday.
This is the early one.
Saturday.
Gerrard started Watkins on the bench, didn't he, in the first game? Yeah. Obviously, he started this, so I think he got 2 assists. Because ever since he's been there, it's sort of been a question: are you going to play Watkins or Ings? Like, now he's actually playing them both. It's like, it sounds like common sense a bit. They get a good result. I did watch most of it, to be honest. I didn't think it was too bad. It looked like what it is, really. 2 teams probably trying to find a bit of confidence. Ings is a good goal. Everton got an own goal late on, didn't they, from the player that Dino, one they bought from Everton scored, I believe. Yeah.
And the big thing was as well is their new centre back ruptured his Achilles tendon. Is out for the rest of the year?
Yeah, oh God. Well, yeah, that's even worse than that one that you bought. So,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because he was. Well, I know Mings come back in, didn't he? Left out Konza, but I think that he was going to be his first choice centre after the season by the sound of it. Everton as well. Now they've got Connor Cody. Now Frank Lampard decided to move to a back 3. I don't know. Yeah. I don't think he played a back 3 the first game of the season, and I don't remember him playing it a lot last season. I could be wrong there, but obviously it's strange for a centre back at that level of. Well, you could say the same about Maguire, I suppose, but we'll get onto him. For a centre back at that level of football, they only really trusted a back 3.
It's strange because we were linked with him, and people were saying. There's no point because we aren't really going to be playing a back 3 for the most of the season. And then they bring in Connor Cody and they go straight to a back 3. They've got Tarkowski, haven't they? And
you said that again, Cody. Tarkowski. I can't remember Burnley ever playing a back 3. They've all been like 4-4-2 forever, haven't they? Burnley, more or less.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, so they get Cody in.
They will Cody in and they change everything.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just reached panic stations a little bit. What I will say about Everton, I know he made a bit of a balls up for the goal. So Nana year after, he did look like he could be useful, to be honest. After the, I can't did he give it away? He got caught on the ball, didn't he, in the middle of the park? But then he did have a bit. I know he's a sub, but he did get around the pitch a little bit after there. But yeah, I don't know. They put Gordon up front, and now Chelsea are after.
That's crazy, isn't it?
There's a lot of square pegs and round holes going on at Everton. Put it that way.
And Villa, well, they're lucky to get the win. And, at the end of the day now, well, I suppose they weren't particularly lucky, but it is points on the board. We play them in a few weeks. They've got injuries. Coutinho's not firing. Gerrard can't seem to find his right 11 and his right system. And I think it's going to be a long old few weeks for Villa, I think.
Yeah, I don't, like you said, I agree with everything you said then. I think a few people are sort of having a tongue-in-cheek joke that they'll both be sacked by Christmas, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a lot of it's the mentality as well, because I think Everton got their goal in something like the 86th minute, I think, and then Village went to pieces. It was like they didn't even look under threat that much. It was like, all right, hanging on now.
Part of the bus.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like bidding for the formation. What he's done there, that seems a bit panicky. It's almost like, oh look, Cody's available. We'll get him. Go to a back 3. don't know. It just seems a bit naive to me, but
very, very strange. But
yeah.
let's see who else we got in the chat. Gary, hope you well. Mike as well. Kent, even Jake and Shaun, Onana, mixed bag for him, but it looks powerful and full of potential indeed. Gary says Onana looks very, very good. Kent says, I would have signed Cody all day long at West Ham. Can play in the midfield too. If we would have, I didn't know that, but if we would have done, then a back three is something that we could explore, but it is what it is. But we move on. Who else? Oh, look what we got next. Look, your favourite club, Arsenal 4, Leicester 2. You've got to be honest, they're not looking half bad, are they, Shaun?
They're looking good going forward. Obviously, Jesus has had a great game. I'm going to repeat what I said last week, really, because I think Josh bigged Arsenal up a lot, saying how they are brilliant for dominated. I didn't agree with him. I thought that with Arsenal, and I think they'll be the same this year, there'll be class going forward for large spells of games. As soon as the opposition can get at them, they'll be on the ropes a little bit. They might not be on the ropes as often as they were maybe in previous years. They might be a bit better, but we were out watching it. I can't remember how the scores were. Was it 2-0 or something like that? Next thing
2-0 and then Maddison or something.
Next thing is 3-2.
Yeah.
So that's that. I know they got the fourth and killed it. That might be the difference they've got this year to past years. But I think they let Palace back into the game on the first game on the Friday when they were 1-0 up, and there's only an own goal which killed that game. This game they let Leicester back into it.
Saliba scored a bit of a nightmare own goal.
Yeah, so I think there's still a side that can be got at. It's just a matter of whether this year, they might be just a little bit more powerful going forward. But I can't remember their fixture list, but I did read somewhere, so I'm having a moan, that their first 7 or 8 fixtures are very, very winnable. So it might be worth having a look.
You've got to play every team twice, Shaun.
You do, but it's like Geek said, it is a mentality thing, don't it? Like, if you go away to Forest and lose on the second game of the season, it's not going to lift your spirits that much, is it? If you're Arsenal and you play down in the dumps Leicester, where everyone's knocking, and Palace, and you get like 6 points, but you're just lifted a bit. So I don't know who their fixtures are. They must have one of the bigger sides in the start, but yeah, just keep an eye on their games. Whether there's always a period in maybe just a 20-minute period where the teams wake up, think, "Hang on, this is Arsenal." They still haven't signed the leader, which they apparently needed forever. Every ex-player will tell you that. They're still paying Xhaka in the middle. Do you know what I mean?
I've heard today as well that they've made him vice captain again.
And also this documentary thing is out, which makes them look a bit daft.
No, it's stupid, isn't it? I watched about 2 episodes of it and I turned it off. It's rubbish.
Well, I sort of loosely heard about it, like all that palaver when they called off the game with Spurs in January, the fake COVID and all that. They haven't even mentioned it in the documentary. They've skipped from losing in the semi-final to Liverpool on to the next game. So
well, that's convenient.
Just they are playing well, doing well going forward. But again, I've seen signs in both games where they're just rocking a little bit. I think teams could get at them still.
Yeah, I think so. Let's take some more of your comments then. Dan, hope you're well. Jay, fantastic match day vlog, Gape, mate. Keep on going, buddy. You are providing a great base for many Hammers fans, and you work bloody hard. So keep up the amazing work and come on, you Irons. Thank you very much, Dan. Thank you very much indeed. Charlie. It's all a bit of a splash dash at Everton. Good players, but there doesn't seem to be a real cohesion there. Yeah, it is a bit mixed matchy, just not much going on. Terry says Villa only held on for a couple of minutes. Everton didn't offer much, in my opinion. Kent says Cody has not played in a midfield for a while. He was signed by Wolves as a midfielder, started his career as a midfielder. Well, I did not know that. Thank you very much, Kent. Charlie says Arsenal are the opposite of Everton. Good young manager, good young squad, smart signings. They've certainly got a plan, and it's coming together. A couple of years, and they could be back to what they once were. I still think they've got a few defensive issues there to sort out, and in the midfield as well. I think they could be a little bit more dominant than they are, which we will see how far they've come when they start coming up against the Liverpools, the Cities, even I suppose you could say the Spurs as well. Indeed, gotta keep hydrated. Indeed, Terry. Jesus is quality. He certainly is. Man United 25-1 to get relegated. Anyone? We'll talk about that in a minute. Terry says Arsenal look tidy. Bang on, Paul. Jesus does look useful. Let's have a look here. Miss Amarat, hope you are well. John, hope you are well. Everton have wasted so much money in recent years. They have, and they've just seemed to have gone nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Really, really, really got away with it last year in a relegation battle, and then they just don't seem to be getting anywhere this year, But it don't bother me. We are going to have some fun at Everton away, big fat Frank, aren't we? But moving on to probably this gets the award for the forgettable game of the weekend. Brighton 0, Newcastle 0 down at the seaside. I mean, we won't touch on it for too long, Terry. Shaun, crack on.
Have you got these boys next week, haven't you? Your bogey side, is that right?
Yeah, our bogey side. So come and beat us always.
I'm a fan of, well, not a fan, that's a bit of a stretch. I like Brighton, as you know. But it's another game. Remember, I think for about 3 years we said now they need a striker. They were the better side versus Newcastle. I think they're a few last ditch. Did everyone clear off the line? The keeper saved. Pope saved a couple. They're a good team, Brighton. I know what United got a drop in at Brentford, but Clive would like me saying this, but I actually think the Brighton win was a better win than the Brentford beating United, if that makes sense. The reason being, I think both brilliant wins by the two teams, but I think Brighton completely outplayed Man United at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, although Brentford were outstanding, I think Ten Hag's tactics and odd decisions almost just gave him a non-starter.
We're not there yet.
No. So stick with Brighton. Yeah, you get a tough game at the weekend. I don't need to tell you that.
Yeah.
You must be back home again. Are you?
Yeah.
What's your record like? Home against them.
I think we drew against them last year. Mope scored like an overhead kick goal or something, and but yeah, it would literally be a first if we beat them.
But they we'll get on the West Ham in a minute. It's just whether West Ham are now up to speed or not. I mean, the third weekend of the season, and Brighton again. I haven't seen the highlights against Newcastle, to be honest. Against United, obviously, I know they dominated it. They look sharp.
There won't be many highlights against Newcastle.
No, Mitrovic. That's the wrong game. Hang on, I'm on the wrong game then.
That's forgettable. Should we move on, Shaun?
I was trying to think of the boring 0-0s.
Yeah,
but yeah, you know, Brighton are a good side. I do like how they play football. Yeah. I like how they set up. I rate the manager. But bloody hell, buy a striker. Just buy a striker. Exactly. All that money. How much have they made with Cucurella and Basuma? Like that's 120 million. Like, just spend 40 million on a striker and see where it takes you.
Well, I think so. Moving on to City's first battering of the season. Manchester City 4, Bournemouth 0. Haaland having 8 touches seems to be the big hurrah from this game, but they won 4-0. He got an assist, didn't he? That's it,
Yeah.
City back to thrashing sides.
Yeah, I don't think Bournemouth put up a lot of fight. I don't think no one really expected them to, really. It's like that's a banker win. You said the Haaland would probably be the talking point most games they play. He's going to be, I think I said last week, he was talked up a little bit too much against your lot. Because I don't think he touched the ball that many times. I mean, you played him, really. He's not a lot of the play's going to go through him. He's almost going to act like a decoy a bit. And in the long, obviously, strikers love scoring goals, but in the long run, is he going to be that happy in that style of team? Do you know what I mean? Where
I think he'll be okay because I think he's going to score regularly. And I think that's what will make him happy there.
Yeah, he will. I think if he scores, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of them are tap-ins inside of 12 yards. It's just, I suppose strikers will be happy if they score and score and score, but if you're a striker, Pep's style is not for everyone. It's a strange one. 8 touches is low. I don't care what player you're on the pitch, that's a low. And I think he had 2 passes. One was an assist, and one was a kickoff. I think I might be right in saying that. You're just not involved, are you? And
But to be fair, as long as I think he got an assist, but as long as he's getting assists and scoring goals regularly, I don't think the people at Manchester City will really care. They beat Bournemouth 4-0, and that's it, really, isn't it?
The thing is, him just being on the field could take Man City to the next level without him even touching it.
Yeah.
Because what is he, a 6'4" striker? Must be can't be far off that. He must be 18 odd stone and with no fat on him. Do you know what I mean? I just far off with that.
But he is going to be daunting for centre backs.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, and they are going to beat the majority of sides they play this year, because I think unless a miracle, I think they win the league again this year. But
like I said, like I said, they could go up a level. This could just having him in the team. He might Champions League final. He might touch it 10 times. He win 4-0. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that is possible because he's on the field and he is a monster. So
yeah, there we go. Moving on to. Is it the first Desmond game of the weekend? It certainly is, and it's not the last. Southampton 2, Leeds 2, then down on the south coast. What do you think about this one?
Well, Southampton fans aren't happy. They are on the turn. I can tell you that much.
Yeah,
Hassan Hooter, he's the favourite for the sack first in the sack race. Going 2-0 down the Leeds at home. I do follow a lot of Southampton journalists on Twitter, and it was sounding quite poisonous a little bit in corners of the ground. But Southampton haven't got a bad record at home at coming back when they go behind. Apparently, they said on the radio today. So he did what they had to do. I'm sure you'll ask me a few questions on certain tackles in the course of this show, but did you see the Llorente one?
I didn't know.
I thought it was a foul. I watched it.
Should I have a look? Llorente, was it? I'll have a look.
Yeah, it's on Leeds United's own Twitter. It's what a challenge or something like that. It's a last ditch tackle. You either think it's an absolute brilliant tackle we need to see more of in the game, or you think he caught the player's ankle before it. It's a tricky one. He got away with it, but
is it on highlights or what? It's on
actually on Leeds United's own Twitter sort of handle.
Right, I'm on it.
You slow it down. He sort of slides in and takes the leg a little bit. It's the last man.
I've got it. Here we go. Right.
It's a last man challenge. You think, I don't know. I'm still on the fence of it, and obviously that can change football matches. And
let's have a look. So the ball comes through. Oh no, I don't think there's too much wrong. Does he win the ball? Oh, he just touches the ball.
He just touches the ball, but the back. I think the left leg. The players. I don't know if he was injured. He was rolling around.
I'll tell you what though. He gets the man before he gets the ball.
Yeah, I think it's the left leg. He takes the left leg out the ankle, then the right ball sort of stretches to make it look better than what it is. So I think they might have just got away with it, but
yeah,
do you know what I mean?
That's a very difficult decision.
Yeah, decisions.
One of the few very difficult decisions this weekend, Shaun.
Decisions go either way, and they're inconsistent, aren't they? I said to my mate, I said next week that could have been a red. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just how it goes. But yeah, I think on the whole, I suppose both teams have to be a little bit happy. I think Southampton fans, they might not be happy, but coming back from 2-0 down, you'd take that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Let's take some of the comments. Lee, I don't know. I don't see how many of our fans want Moyes out. Really makes me question whether they're West Ham fans or just wealthy people who got money to prevent other real fans from attending. Hi everyone, we are massive. We'll get on to West Ham a little bit later on, but yeah, short memories is the word, and I can see Shaun smiling. No, we'll wait to talk about West Ham. We'll wait. He said, the one man I wanted here. Hello, everybody, except Shaun, our resident Chelsea fan, Simon. We will get on to Chelsea a little bit later
I hope Simon's got his law book handy. So,
well, I tell you what, I don't even think there is a rule about pulling hair, so we'll get to that a little bit later on. But Ken says, game of two halves. Game of two halves of the second half, Saints versus Leeds. Llorente just gets the ball. Dermot Gallagher on ref watch. It's a very difficult decision, and I wouldn't have liked to be the man on VAR. I'd have much preferred to be at the City ground, but hey ho, we move on. Simon, you were robbed. We'll get onto that a little bit later. There we go. So let's move on and talk about. I've missed that game. We'll come on to that in a minute. Next up, I've got Wolves 0, Fulham 0. The second what's the word? Most forgettable game of the weekend. Fire away, Shaun.
Well, I only know two things about this game. Mitrovic had a penalty saved in the 83rd minute. Nearly cost me a little bet that I had. I think the keeper is it Sarda goalie Wolves? I don't imagine that. I don't know. Anyway, they nearly made him retake it because he was off his line. And then that Gibbs White and Mitrovic had a head-to-head clash in in injury time. I think that was about the highlights of the game. And it was a typical Wolves game. I assume they stuck with a back four because they got rid of Cody to go to a back four because last year he didn't create enough. We played Wolves on the lunchtime kickoff Saturday, so not expecting many goals from really, but you know what I mean? It's not very exciting playing Wolves. We said every week, don't we?
They're forgettable. And Fulham, it's another point on the board early on. That's 2 points now. And I think if they were given 2 points after the first two games, most Fulham fans would have snatched your hand off of that.
Yeah, so they're gonna have a go, aren't they? They can have a go.
Yeah. So. And as you said last week, Marco Silva, very good manager for Fulham, and he will certainly put up a fight if that's the very least that they do. Poor Cucurella. Kent says definitely a penalty for Fulham. Mitrovic should have been sent off for 2 yellows as well. Comfortable Spurs win next weekend. Who have you got next week?
We're home the Wolves Shaun. On the lunchtime kickoff.
Could
go back top of the league for a couple of hours.
Let's move on to realistically what you're probably here for. Brentford 4, Manchester United 0. Now, you can say TV programmes are more entertaining, but that was the first half. I'm going to say, not the second half, that was rubbish. The first half was probably some of the most entertaining football I've watched in a long, long time because I just sat there laughing. 4 first half goals for Brentford give them 3 points in a historical win for them at the G-Tech Community Stadium.
Shaun, is that what's called?
Yeah, sponsorship deals all the way.
The G-Tech make Hoovers, is that what
I think so. Yeah, money talks, Shaun. Money talks. Brentford 4, Man United 0. Go.
Yeah, you can go 2 ways with this. It'd be wrong not to praise Brentford, as I said earlier.
Yeah,
you've got to praise him. 4-0. That's brilliant. You beat any of the traditional Big Six at home 4-0. It's an outstanding result.
Yeah.
It's hard not Ten Hag really because he's only been there 2 months or whatever. But some of his decision making is already telling me he's panic.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it?
Some of his, I know he's in a tricky position with Ronaldo. It's easy for me to sit here and say should have got rid of him a month ago. It's not that straightforward. He's brought this 5'9" centre half in from Ajax.
Paid 57 million for him and then took him off at half time.
But I don't know what to say. It's like it's quite naive to think I can just pick the players that I know because that's sort of what he's doing. He knows him from Ajax. He knows he's after De Jong because he knows him. Do you know what I mean? He was linked to Arnautovic used to have because he's worked with him as well somewhere else. That's lazy and naive for a big club like Man United.
It's like, I'm just going to sign people that I know and just friends with. Let's just have my circle.
Well, you'd expect that from like a lower down club. That's how they do. Getting players they can trust. They know that's not a big club's behaviour. But it's just the tactics of having Christian Eriksen as the deepest sitting midfielder. So he realised that the Fred McTominay wasn't working. So fair enough, Eriksen can play centre midfield a little bit. He did it. I think he did it for Brentford a bit last year, but not taking the ball off the goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? You don't want him that deep. What is the point of that? And it's all.
I think it sums it up where he's playing Eriksen 1 week as a number 9 and then 1 week holding Maguire's hands as number 6.
And bear in mind, both games he's had Fernandes up the field and he's done absolutely nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
I know it's just the thing is I know it's not knocking Brentford whatsoever, but they're gifted 2 goals straight away.
Yeah.
And Man United just haven't got the confidence within the squad to come back from that anymore. And I think that Martinez, Ben Mee beat him for a header and he didn't even jump. He just headed it on. It is really, really poor. And I think they got Liverpool at Old Trafford at the weekend. And I think it probably won't work, but the supporters' trust are trying to get them to boycott it and just go outside the ground. I don't know if you remember last year, they got the game called off, didn't they?
Well, it's all stormed in, didn't they?
Yeah, they went in and chucked bottles about. So they're trying that. I haven't got the answer. When it goes wrong, certain people try to blame the owners. They've got a squad there worth about 600 million. They've paid for it. So,
but the graphic they put up about how squad's worth and Brentford and Man United, and it's embarrassing.
The thing is, though, Jay, it's a lot. It doesn't take a good manager to get the tactics right against certain teams. Like Brentford press up high on the goal kicks. Your Man United's goal kicks were coming out so slow. Yeah. It was like they're passing at Maguire, and Maguire was just had his foot on it, looking around the field, and it was like slow motion. It's like,
but I said that they're not a playing out from a bad team because they haven't got the quality to. No. Man United from years gone by, maybe, but this Man United defence has not got the quality to be passing it around the back.
Problem is, that's always been De Gea's weak point. He's never been great with his feet. So, I know he was like a player of the season about 4 years on spin, saved them from dropping out the top four for quite a few years. But don't then put pressure on him to play with his feet, passing it 8 yards in front of Eriksen coming in. Because Brentford are just going to press you. They know, anyone that's watched Brentford play know how they'll press from the front. They'll try and seize any dodgy passes. It was almost like
go on.
Ten Hag's tactics just play completely into Brentford's hands. Yeah. And Brentford, as you'd expect, at home, noisy crowd, they got what they deserved, pressured, forced some mistakes, and got it. But that was very, very naive tactics from Ten Hag, both in team selection and, well, you can say, we give them 2 goals, but they just played in the Brentford's hands. So I don't know where they're going to go, to be honest.
Yeah, it's very, and I think I watched a bit of Mark Goldbridge. He got to that stage a little bit earlier, and I do agree with him for an extent that there's something dodgy going on at this club because he's starting Maguire every week. They've got Varane sat on the bench. He's taken off his own centre back at half time and leaving Maguire there. He's bringing on Scott McTominay over. What's his name? Not Dion. What's his name? Van der Beek. That he almost brought up with at Ajax. He's just.
But they're even.
It doesn't make sense, and it happened with Ragnick. It happened with Ollie, and it's now happening now. Something's not right there because these managers are doing exactly the same thing, and I'm convinced Ten Hag's a good manager.
Yeah, but I think for a club like Man U, like for all the people that criticise Pogba. He put in like 1 world-class game in 5 or whatever, then you wouldn't see him.
Yeah,
that's still probably their best centre midfielder they've got gone that hasn't been replaced. His contract ran out 2 months ago, I think, 3 months ago, and he's gone. Okay, you've got a striker in pre-season. They had Martial up front, who was on loan at Seville last year, I think.
Yeah,
Ronaldo didn't even want to come and train for the first 2 months of pre-season. So. They still haven't now got another striker to replace either of those. One that they didn't want last year and one that wants to go. So this is Man United haven't. I think they've still got that. Is it N'Golo or something like that?
What, Elanga?
Yeah, Elanga, that's the one. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? What are they doing? And the problem is, the worse they get, the least attractive they are for players to join them.
Exactly, because I think on TalkSport they were on about on the way home last night. They were saying that if De Jong comes in, he's leaving Champions League football at the age of 25. The best case scenario, playing Champions League football when he's 28, because they're not in it this year. They're not going to get in it next year. And that's the best case scenario. Why would Champions League players, the quality that Manchester United want to come to Manchester United, except for money? But nobody's going to.
No, but even tonight, before I come on here, some journalist in Barcelona is tweeting about United trying to get De Jong still. And apparently what they bid for him, I don't know how they work it in Barcelona, God knows what's going on there. But when they bid for him, I think it's like 40 million a month ago. That bid is now expired. So if they want to bid again, they've got to go through the process again. And the reports are the player still doesn't want to go.
It's embarrassing from top to bottom. Let's take some of these comments then. Corey says there's something in Maguire's contract that said he's not allowed to be being able to be dropped or subs. It feels like that. It really, really does. Charlie says there's so much to love about Brentford. Manchester United are a mess, but Brentford are brilliant. United have to stay the course and build. Firing their manager again would be a mistake, in my opinion. Terry says United need to play their youngsters. Word on the street is they have a few decent ones and they'll be hungry. What do they have to lose? Exactly, and that's what some people called for towards the back end of last season. These players do not want it, and most of them are there to collect their paycheck. And you imagine if you were a Manchester United fan and I told you 10 years ago to the day that they were in this situation.
Nothing's really changing. But I think when Ten Hag, after about a month of being in, all we heard about is all these new rules he brought in, like can't do this, can't do that, banning their own personal chefs if they have them at home. I'm sure I heard on the radio today when you might have heard it yourself when he seen the stats, the running stats versus Brighton, the difference because Brighton run more. He made them run that difference in training the next day.
Well, it obviously didn't work because they ran a lot less than what Brentford did.
Yeah, I don't. Thing is, there's a lot of prima donnas there, so you're going to send in like a, I don't know. It sounds a little bit like Fergie from the early '90s. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, those hard taskmasters they've died out a little bit. You need to be a bit better, more thoughtful than that. So, I don't know. I don't know, mate. I think they'll definitely lose 2 or 3-0 against Liverpool. I don't even think they've got it in them to up the game in what's probably their biggest game of the season, in all fairness.
At Old Trafford, I think it is as well. That's going to get nasty. That is going to get nasty.
Yeah.
Let's take some of these comments.
Was it 5-0 last year when they played it?
It was. It was like a training game at Anfield, wasn't it?
Well,
it could be that and more, let's be honest, because they probably got worse. Miss Hammer says that game was seriously unreal. I know I shouldn't laugh after our performance, but Gary Neville literally having another meltdown and being told off by Redknapp was one of the funniest things. To be fair, what's Redknapp doing? Like, he's his teacher. Look at me when I'm talking to you. What's that all about? Come on, just let Neville do what he wants to do. Mike says good on Brentford. Give them their praise. Manchester United have been mediocre for a while now. Good players, but not a team. Ken says masterclass of the pressing game from Brentford, exploiting teams' inadequacies. Manchester United tried to take Brentford lightly, took liberties, and got done deservedly. Let's scroll down. Scamacca versus Martinez should be fun indeed. Miss Hammer says reportedly the Glaziers have set a price for the club. Wow. I don't know about that.
That's just if they have done that, they just leaked it at the press because that sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah. Fans are nagging from the go, so they say, "All right, we'll sell." That's not saying they're going to accept. What did Chelsea go for? About 4 or 5 billion, wasn't it? What do you think the Glazers are going to take their cash cow for? They're going to probably want 10 billion.
Oh, exactly. They are going to ask for something stupid, and anybody that's a gazillionaire looking at that thinking, "Do I really want to pay £10 billion or something for that?"
But what a lot of outsiders might not realise as well, Old Trafford's on his backside.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Neville said that as well. Yeah, it is on its backside.
The training ground's it's dated. It's nowhere near one of the best in the league. The squad probably needs another. Well, they could probably do with selling every single player and starting again.
Yeah.
So it's not an attractive club to buy. It's just really not. Apart from the revenue it brings in, and that's why the Glazers bought it anyway.
Well, exactly. So, yeah. Corey says, Shaun, the Glazers don't buy the players the manager wants. Just look at Rabiot, for example. True. Man United have got no passion anymore. Imagine Keane in this team. He would fight all of his teammates at half time. Gary says trouble with United is that no one any good will join them, i.e. De Jong, so they are stuck. Need a massive clear out and promote the kids. Charlie says that's a great point about the Champions League player. United have got to go through a rebuild, which proves they do. But they don't have the patience to do that. Yeah, I agree. You know, they aren't a sort of club that can strip it down and build a 5-year process, because that's just not going to happen at the end of the day. Let's scroll down. Ben, even Jay can have a great show from an up and coming star of reporting. Watch out, Jim White. Thank you very much, Ben. Means a lot. Comment of the night. Sorry, mate. Went for tea. Thought I'd try and get back in time for the Burnley game. Oh, wrong league. Exactly, yeah. Somebody will be doing a championship roundup show. You can go and find it, mate. Don't worry. I might even let you on the FA Cup watch along if you like. You know, I might I tell you what, if you draw us, that's going to be scenes. That's going to be scenes. FA Cup third round, Burnley v West Ham. The absolute scenes. What we're going to do is we're going to leave the worst till last. So next up is the Chelsea Spurs game. Whilst we've still got Simon here, hopefully. Simon, speak if you're here, because we're going to talk about Chelsea versus Spurs next. Right. A couple of things. Firstly, I did want Chelsea to win this because I think at least if Spurs don't win, I'm not going to get completely battered by Shaun on Monday night. So I was rooting for Chelsea. They score. Spurs bring it back. They score again, and Harry Kane scores in the 96th minute. There's plenty of things to discuss, and then the punch up at the end. Far away, Shaun.
Come on, where do you want to start? You better kick me off here. give me a little nudge. What direction do you want me to go in? Come on.
Well, go first half, second half, your thoughts. And I'll tell you what, we'll scrap that. We'll go Nottingham Forest, West Ham, so you can talk about that, and we're going to bring on a Forest fan. Does that sound like a plan, Shaun?
Go for it, mate. Do it.
Let's go. He came on the preview. Richard, how are you? You're probably better than I am, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm feeling good today. Thank you.
Good. Come on then, hit me with it. What did you make of yesterday?
Yeah, from a Forest point of view, I thought we played really well first half. You could see that there was progress from the week before. The team was gelling quite nicely, and we created chances. I think you probably feel aggrieved a little bit that you didn't come away with something at least. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I think it's a crazy game of football where we should have got something out of it. We deserve to get something out of it. We got nothing out of it at the end of the day. We were poor, especially in the first half. We were very, very poor. I think it was from the offset where Declan Rice got a yellow card, which kind of halted his game. Souček was doing nothing in midfield, which meant we had a weak midfield. You came out. Your atmosphere bullied us. I thought the atmosphere was electric in there, and we just in especially in the first 20 minutes, we just didn't really have any answers to it. It was just kind of when we get the ball, lump it up long, and here come Forest again at the end of the day. You probably at the end of the first half deserve to go in leading, but the decisions I think are questionable. I mean I don't know where to start. The goal that was disallowed. I mean, we couldn't see. We couldn't see after watching it the first time. I thought, that's a foul. But showing on the side angle, you can definitely tell that your man did go into Antonio. Antonio went at him quite fiercely, and he did try and get a little bit in Antonio's way and went towards Antonio. You take it what you like. I think it's harsh for both sides. If it's given one way or the other, both sides have got a very good argument to deny it for them. And then the goal, that's the jammiest goal you'll score all year. Let's be honest. Just kicked off his shin, and there we go.
I mean, he was following the shot in all fairness. Yeah, he was. And that's what you've got to do as a striker.
Yeah.
And the football up to that point, the build-up was really good. Yeah. I thought. And you got to take what's there. That's the thing.
Yeah. Indeed. Overall, we went into the second half. Shaun stopped smiling. We went into the second half, and I thought we were better. I thought the subs were a little bit late, especially Cornet. I don't know why we brought him on with 10 minutes to go. He had about 4 touches. There was really no need for that. Skamaka looked lively. A very good applause for Antonio from all around the ground, which I thought was very good from Forest. The penalty. Listen, it was a penalty. The only guy in the stadium that missed it was the referee, and rightly it was overruled. And I mean, what an awful penalty it was. You could tell I was standing about 20 foot away from Declan Rice, and you could tell where he was hitting it. He was facing that way, and he just hit the top of the ball, and it just bumbled straight into Henderson's arms.
He didn't look very confident.
No, he didn't.
Stepping up, to be honest.
And the big before he went, like he just didn't want to take it. It was, I would
don't take it then. Don't take it.
That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said.
I'm surprised Benrahma didn't take it because he was a constant thorn in our side all match.
Yeah. He scored 7 out of 7 in his career as well, Benrahma, apparently.
Yeah, he should have taken it. Yeah, he should have taken it. And then we've had two crosses hit the underside, or 2 balls, a free kick and a header hit the underside of the bar. Another few millimeters that goes in. It's disappointing, but fair play to Forest. You got your points on the board, and good luck to you. probably, I think a draw would have been a fair result considering our chances that we did have. But give us your overall of the game, Richard. I've had my say. Now have your say.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a foul, Antonio. If you look at it closely, Mangala's just looking at Rice, and I don't know where Antonio's running other than straight at the player, to be honest. And he bulldozed him, and Jermaine Jenner said, you can't do that, and it's a foul, unfortunately. Yeah, I think we tired at the end. I think the heat started to play its part, definitely. But at the end, you have got a better squad. You've got a better starting lineup at the moment. We're just starting out, so I think we've just got to battle for everything and take everything we get, really, because otherwise we're going to go straight back down again.
Yeah, and overall, the only thing that you lot care about is the result, and that's what you've got. It reads 1-0 for us, and you've got 3 points.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was watching Match of the Day earlier, and I think there was only one shot on target in it. You have more possession, but if you watch Forest last season, that was sort of par for the course for us. We're sort of quite happy to let teams have the ball in their half and press them a little bit and just let them play it around without causing us too many problems. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's football, isn't it? I mean, you sometimes you just don't get what you think you deserve.
Yeah. Shaun, as a neutral, what did you make of it?
First of all, I noticed a few of your fans having a little bit of a bitch at each other, and that does happen when a team's not going well. Like, I think you've seen a message come on a minute ago about can't believe Summer calls in for Moyes to go. That's probably a bit harsh on Moyes, but you get frustrated when you spot a team maybe showing early signs of, I don't know, looking a bit stale. I don't know. Would you accept that after 2 games?
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
so,
I could name them.
I did think of you when I watched your when you're in the car driving to the ground, talking about what you hope would happen, blah blah blah. I can't remember the chap in the car was. He said, "I'd take a point now." I thought, blimey, that's for the second. You lost the first game to City, which you expect to. You probably wouldn't take a point, really. Away to Forest, in all due respect. I know you lost. They didn't even get that. But then I did think of you when, after I heard what you said about the new players, I expect you felt a bit deflated in the ground when you heard the team probably announced, I'd imagine, a little bit.
100%, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So then the fans are a bit like, oh, for God's sake, Moyes. Do you know what I mean? Just go. Said to you before, let a few players off the chain a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know. Like I said, fans can't fall out really 2 games in. But the fans have got a right to moan. You can't criticise fans for having a moan, because I said to you before, as fans, we all want all of our teams to try and progress each year. So if you think, oh God, this is a dodgy start, we don't look like a team, then you shouldn't lower your standards how your team should be. Do you know what I mean? You class yourself as the top 6th and 7th you come, didn't you? So do you know what I mean? If you feel, I know we're only 2 games in, but if you think early signs, hang on, and you've got Brighton next week, if you get a draw against Brighton, that's 1 from 9, you've got a right to have a little moan. I'm not saying go over the top, but yeah, so fans don't. No one's right and wrong if you're a fan. If you want to moan and say, "Oh, we got to be better," then you got that right to say it. But on the game, I think it was just finishing probably wasn't quite there for West Ham, and these games happen, don't they? Do you know what I mean? Unless you take your chances, it's not too dissimilar to the Spurs game which followed yours. If you don't take your chances, you'll get punished one way or the other. It's just that's just football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was that the same starting lineup that you sort of finished the season with?
Yeah, pretty much. If I go through who do we have, I mean we're centre back light. You could tell that because Johnson was way out of his depth yesterday. I thought he was poor, to be honest. But apart from Johnson playing centre back, if I go for Fabianski, the back four's the same, midfield's the same, and the attack is the same pretty much. Yeah, so that is the side that we ended last season on.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, Cornet, Scamacca, they're not going to start, are they, their first game in? It's the same with us. Last week, we didn't start all of our new signings. You just can't bring them straight in. But I imagine they'll start your next game.
Hopefully,
You'd like to think
there
so.
there was an element of when the lineup came in, in the ground, that we felt at least one of them could have started, because Skamaka's been with us for a good few weeks, about 3 weeks, I think he's been with us
Right.
now. So we did think, from what we saw of him, he could have justified starting, and I think they almost came out after and said they both could have started, but they weren't quite at the level that we want them to be at.
But to be honest, though, Jake, I've said this last week and I'll say it again. You're one of a few sides which don't look quite ready for the season to start yet.
No, we don't.
So for Moyes to come out and say they're not the level we expect, well, what level's that then? Do you know what I mean? Because you don't look a team where every player's 100% fit, 100% sharp. So what difference is Skamaka going to make? Give him an hour, start him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
mean? Sorry, mate. That's the point I'm sort of making, though, because everybody's sort of going on at Forest. Oh, you've got all these players in. How are you going to get them to gel? You're starting with a team that's very similar to how you finished last season, so you'd think that would be a strength, really.
Well, that's fair, but the team is stale. There are too many players in there that aren't good enough to be starting. Souček, he had completely no impact on the game yesterday. I thought he was poor. I think he is not good enough. I would have started Downs yesterday. Fabianski, to be fair, and all due to respect to him, a lot of us wanted to see Areola start, but I do think Fabianski played well. He made a couple of very good saves in that sense, but we would have just liked to see some new faces, some new ideas, because we are predictable and teams have worked us out. If you pack a midfield and you dominate us in midfield, you beat us, and that is the bottom line of it. You were physical, you came at us early on. That's one thing that we talked about on the preview, Richard, was whichever team started the better, I thought, will win the game, and that was what happened. Forest started the better side, and they ended up winning the game. I thought that was key, and that was it. And we just didn't really have too much of a response. Yes, we had our chances, but some of them were unlucky. Some of them we just didn't take. That Souček header that came back out, how he's not scored that, I do not know.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Richard, I'll give you your final thoughts before I let you go.
Well, we're only going to get better, hopefully, onwards and upwards. I mean, there was definite signs of the team from last season, the team spirit, just with more quality. So fingers crossed, we can only go forward now.
Yeah, indeed. Atmosphere from both sides, I thought, was very good. Lingard did show a little wry smile when he went down to pick up a throw in, and somebody chucked about 50 fake banknotes at him.
Did he put any in his pocket? Did he?
He didn't. But I was surprised he didn't. And we were singing, "We still got your watch, Jesse Lingard." There was a small smile to that as well. Yeah. But it is what it is. We will meet again at the London Stadium. But Richard, thank you very much for coming on. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Mate. Speak to you soon. Cheers, buddy.
Bye. Cheers. Thank you. Yeah, Shaun, anything you'd like to add before we go to comments and then move on to your game?
Yeah, just fans just got to stick out, haven't they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, a little bit of fans can't do this, fans can't do that. Well, I've said this to you lots of times. Sometimes you've got to just raise the standards. I know traditionally you haven't really been a top 6-8 club for but when you get a sniff of it, don't just chuck it away. That's it. Like, do you know what I mean? Leicester, like they were champions, FA Cup winners, played in the Champions League, Europa League. If all of a sudden they're 10th, 12th for 2 or 3, are their fans going to be happy? Once you get a taste of being a half decent side, and you're paying good money, you're packing out a 60,000 seater stadium, you've got a right just to demand a little bit more. And I know we're only 2 games in, but don't. And I'm not saying sack Moyes, although I don't think he is probably a long-term answer for you boys, because he's getting on a bit and his techniques aren't exactly that modern. Do you know what I mean? No. So I don't think he'll be there in like 2 seasons' time, for example. And I've said to you before, there's a few coaches, but I'd be looking at. You had another. I praised the Forest coach, didn't I, as well? And do you know what I mean? He's a good modern coach. You're playing Brighton at the weekend. I'm not saying you've got to start looking at your next manager, but I think, I don't know, give it 18 months, you might be.
Oh, Let's take some of the comments. Ken says, I'd like to credit Forest for atmosphere. The game was too big for the ref. He lost control. VAR poor. I think we deserved a draw, but I thought McKenna should have been sent off for that brilliant save. Indeed, the only saving grace I think was that the keeper was probably there, and if he wasn't there, he would have saved it. But then again, somebody on Twitter made the point today that should we just do that and put people on the posts and tell them to put their arm out and tell the keeper to stand there? Is that what we can do now? And he can only get a yellow card. Is that what's going to happen? Who knows?
That is a weird rule, that one. But
yeah,
I'll be honest, that rule there, like, because you got the goalie might have saved it. It's almost like they made that one up on the spot, like they weren't sure. Do you know what I mean? They weren't sure.
I do think the referee did lose control of the game. I don't know who he is, but I think somebody said somebody said he referees more championship games than Premier League games, obviously for a reason. Rob Jones, I think his name was. I think Kent's bang on. He completely lost control of it, the atmosphere, everything. He just lost it, in my opinion. But that happens sometimes, doesn't it? And I'm sure he'll know that. David Moyes went to speak to him after the game. I don't know whether that's a regular occurrence for managers to go and speak to the referee after the game, but he got some answers, and David Moyes did sound very bitter on his post-match press conference.
This is a surprise.
Let's take some more of your comments. And Kent says, Antonio trying to make a run to offer Deck an option of a pass. I don't think it's a foul, but it is what it is. A lot of people talked about Arsenal. Terry and Ben, hope you are well. Lee says, to be fair to the geezer who Antonio went into, he was jumping side to side. Okay, it was 3 or 4 times he was shifting, but how the hell did Antonio know which way he'd spring? That's how I see it anyway. Yeah, and he did almost lean forward into him as well, and obviously he went straight back from Antonio's barge. But the one thing I will say is that it wasn't picked up, and Shaun, I'll get your thoughts on this. It wasn't picked up by the referee, which means it went to VAR. And as far as I'm aware, VAR can only rule out things that lead to a goal scoring opportunity. Now, in my opinion, that guy is not going to run 10 yards to stop the ball in the time that Declan Rice passes it to Ben Rama and scores.
That's fair enough, but you there's so many interpretations of these stupid rules nowadays. Yeah. You won't be able to keep up with it. I'm sure we'll cover another VAR one in the next game.
We will.
You've got to dig deep in the. They do change the VAR rules. I think it's the third or fourth season.
Third season.
And every season, every time the season's ended, they've tweaked laws. So
yeah,
it's a job to keep up with it. They're just still trying to work out how rubbish it is and how they can make it better. And and what it does take as well, like that handball one where you said he should have been sent off. Don't be surprised if that's one of the law changes they have, because you've just suffered from that. We had one. Don't know if you remember. Remember the first season they had VAR and any handball in the box was a penalty. Do you remember that or not? I think Eric Dyer jumped up looking that way, and the ball hit him behind his back, and there's a handball, and it's like, and they changed that law mid-season. So where it was, I don't know what it took. An outcry from the world to see how ridiculous it was to change it. Surely they knew that anyway. But don't be surprised if that might even get like a new change. But it should be if you're preventing a goal scoring opportunity in the box like that. It's always been a red card. But I don't know where the goalie. Just because the goalie's coming behind, if the player would have left it because he's right in front of him, the keeper could have been blindsided. It could have just gone straight by him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an odd one. Don't be surprised if you see something tweaked there.
Yeah. Well, hey ho. I understand Tuchel v Conte is on the AJG sick undercard. To be fair, I don't like Spurs, but I do like Conte as a manager. And was it Conte that put that thing on Instagram? That was just pure. That was just pure jokes. It was brilliant. Charlie says, I think the calls for a change in management is too early. I don't like Moyes. I never really have. But given what he's managed to achieve, he deserves time to figure it out. So there we go. That's West Ham done. Let's now move on to Chelsea 2, Spurs 2. Hopefully, Shaun is ready to dissect this. And Shaun, start where you like.
Well, the game, Tottenham are poor for an hour. I can't deny that. They're poor for an hour. But as much as Conte's improved Tottenham a hell of a lot, Tuchel's just worked out our 3-4-3. And I think that's what it is. They beat us four times last year. I think twice of them under Conte. Again, it looked like the same old. We just get overrun in midfield against them. Conte's 3-4-3 works brilliant against most teams. We've outplayed Man City using that formation and deserved to beat them. We've matched Liverpool blow for blow, playing that formation. Chelsea, Tuchel, he's just worked it out. Yeah. So Chelsea were the better side, but like I said about West Ham, you've got to put the ball in net. And although Tottenham were poor for an hour, if you look at the match stats at the end, Tottenham had more shots on target than Chelsea. So, and I'd go as far as saying probably Harry Kane missed the easiest chance of the whole game. So it's one of them. Tottenham were very poor for an hour. Tottenham's defending for both of their goals was shocking. I think we do zonal marking and left Koulibaly unmarked. I think the second goal, bad defending. We went to a back four and got just dragged right across the field and left a man free. So defending was poor by Tottenham. Like I said, they just worked it out. Tottenham did improve, I thought, when they went to a back four, though. I think Tottenham did improve a lot when they brought on Richarlison. I think he added a different dimension to Tottenham's threat. Do you know what I mean? And whether it's just an extra, when I just said then about the extra man in midfield, just putting an extra body somewhere in the middle. Do you know what I mean? It just creates space for others. So Tottenham did look better then. Tottenham, just stick with them. They need to start getting a couple of their new signings on the field. So we got the strongest 11. It was fair enough sticking with the same lineup and formation that beat Southampton easily. But Chelsea away is a different animal. We've got bad history playing that formation against them. You've got to be getting the likes of Perisic starting, probably Basuma before long. Do you know what I mean? But
so who started in midfield for Spurs then?
It was the same. Bentancur and Højbjerg started in the centre midfield together. And
Højbjerg, he's got mixed fans and critics.
He has. He's someone that splits. Some love him. Some basically. I think he's got a quote himself. He said about a year ago. He admits himself he's not the most talented footballer in the world, but no one gives more on the field. So he's one of them, really. He's probably sort of player that you probably love at your club, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, Souček's not doing it. Højbjerg's he's going to cover twice as much ground and put his foot in harder. Do you know what I mean? Which you might feel at the moment you might be missing in the middle. You see what I mean?
Fair, yeah.
But you probably want to know about the decisions as well, because that's what's getting all the attention.
Yeah.
Basically, to keep it simple, I agree with everything all the pundits and the commentators said on Sky Sports. I think it's great to see what the manager's on the sideline. I think football's been a bit watered down over the years.
It was good, wasn't it? It's just.
I think they've both been charged today. It's pathetic.
They have been charged.
Yeah. I think Tottenham would definitely appeal, but because they don't think Conte did anything wrong, to be honest. But the goals. I'm sure that's what. Obviously, Chelsea fans are wetting the bed a little bit over the goals, aren't they? And Tuchel, right? The pundits on there all said there's nothing wrong with the first goal, and I 100% agree with that. I think the foul which Tuchel moaned about, I think Bentancur got the ball clean. I think it's there to be seen. He wins the ball. It's then 50 seconds or more to the goal going in the net. Even if that was a foul, it's too far after the incident to do it. And then obviously Richarlison, he thinks he's standing in an offside position. Same as like Jamie. I agree with Jamie Carragher and Souness. I think you want those goals to stand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can say he's blindsided him, but so's Koulibaly. Do you know what I mean? And if you look at the goalkeeper, who's shocking for the goal, by the way, he's actually trying to peer around both players the wrong side. So do you know what I mean? I think in the modern game, you're starting disallowing them. Also, as well, what does count in a decision, how far out it was as well. Do you know what I mean? We're not talking a tapping from 8 yards where Richarlison's standing in front of the goalie. I think Richarlison's only just standing inside the box. Do you know what I mean? So I think in football there's nothing wrong with a tackle. I don't think 1 second there was anything wrong with that. It was even cleaner than the one we said about earlier when the Leeds player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's what started.
Let's get on to it. Come on.
Well, Romero.
Come on.
Well, basically, as I said, it's all about the law book. The law book says pulling your hair is a red card. Okay, it's down as violent conduct. VAR checked it. They just didn't give it. But if the difference is people are forgetting. I think someone mentioned it on the telly after. So that's the only thing the ref got wrong, or VAR. The ref was obviously looking at the melee into the corner more, whereas about 6 players went up for it. Didn't see Romero's. He's one of these masters of the dark arts. Do you know what I mean? It's why he's a brilliant player, but he has got that in him. He likes to leave one on a player.
But come on, leaving one on a player from a good sliding tackle and pulling a geezer's hair, that's a bit different. Shaun, come on.
Yeah.
You can't defend him, can you?
I'm not defending him. It's a red card. Sometimes I'm a stippler for what's in the law book, and it's a red card. Okay, but you can't help but just see the little slight funny side to it a little bit. But
you wouldn't see the funny side of it if it was the other way around, now, would you? With somebody pulling on Bentancur's hair, whatever his name is.
Did it hurt him though? Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a softy one. But yeah, say he sends him off, it's still another corner to Tottenham. So if he sends him off, because I think we had 2 corners in a row at the end, didn't we? First one come in, I think they headed it back out for another corner. Romero pulls his hair. VAR has a look, nothing. Okay, send Romero off. We've still got another corner. Because the law book states you cannot give a free kick unless the ball's in play, and it wasn't. So you can give the red card. Chelsea would not have had a free kick on the 6-yard box. So Tottenham still pump it in. So what then? So basically, Tottenham would have been a man down. So maybe, if you're clutching at straws, Harry Kane
maybe your best centre-back's not in the box for that corner.
He got nowhere near the ball. They didn't even bother marking Harry Kane, did they? So the ball didn't go nowhere near the Romero. Yeah, it's possible. But, it should have been a red card. It wasn't. They didn't defend. The law book for the actual taking the corner would have been right, whether it's a red or not.
Yeah.
But, and then to make it worse, I don't know if you've seen the video, when Kane heads it in, Romero's right up in Reece James' face, screaming at him, saying, "Have that," because that's what he just. The neutral might think, "Oh, you hate that Romero," but he's if he's in your team, you absolutely love him, because not only is he class, because he got man of the match on the Tottenham vote. Do you know what I mean? Because his match stats were outstanding. Like, nobody got by him, even though Chelsea, nobody got by him. His blocks, his duels, it was all the best on the pitch. But we got away with a red card, and we were poor. Conte can't play 3-4-3 versus Chelsea. But then again, Chelsea ain't got a striker. They missed too many. Do you know what I mean? Tottenham are the second best team in the game. They have more shots on target, and Chelsea got away with Kane missing the easiest chance of the game. So although Chelsea are better, you got away it all around. And if Chelsea go,
I do think at the end of the day last week you said I wouldn't surprise me if it was a 2-2, a 2-1, or something like that, and it was at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think what Tottenham fans like a bit, and Conte will like as well, is like if that's last season or season before, we lose that. Tottenham have got fight. They can be overrun, outplayed. They've got fight and desire now, and also the bench is strong. Like, the game's not going well. We brought on Richarlison, Bissouma, Perisic, and Lucas Moura. Do you know what I mean? That's a strong forward. If you're chasing the game with 10 minutes to go, that's a strong bench to bring on. So last season we'd have been bringing on probably Dele Alli, Brian Gill, Stephen Bergwijn. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, to be fair, most Premier League clubs would take a player like Stephen Bergwijn, but Dele Alli.
Probably a bit harsh knocking him, but I'd rather be bringing on Richarlison, and he's already endeared himself to the fans already, because again he's a bit of a shit house. I think the word is, isn't it, Jake? And you do like that in your own team. If someone's going to put their toe in, get in someone's face, go to the fans and G him up. I think he was the one calling for Tuchel to get sent off at the end of the game, and then he just sort of laughed at him. He's one of them. You'll think you're horrible git when you play against them, but So
but there we go.
We move on. Anyway, my final thought on it is: last season we lost at the Bridge and we lost at home to Southampton. This season we've got 4 points in those 2 games. If we beat Wolves, another game where we win 1-0, but drew. I can't remember. So we go top of the league for an hour. Do you know what I mean? So it's not a bad start.
Hey ho, there we go. Well, I'm glad you didn't win. And that's the thing, you know. A lot of people, Chelsea fans and Spurs fans, were calling in a talk sport on the way back last night saying, "We were lucky, no, you were lucky," but it's just done now, isn't it? So
it's not they want good luck and bad luck. The only decision that was wrong was the red card, and do you know what I mean? That it happens. You know what I mean? We just spoke about your one in your game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One thing I will say about, I've said this before, when you see the replay, because you can see it more when they slow it down. But some of the camera footage is quite shocking for the 21st century. Do you know what I mean? Like it looked like a bit of you got to slow it down really to see they're both sort of tussling with each other, and you still can't even see how hard he pulls it back or whether he's diving. Do you know what I mean? It is the footage I just don't think there's enough cameras in the ground for VAR at times.
Not.
Do you know what I mean?
Really not. No.
Like why isn't there one? They did in the World Cup. They had like cameras or a Champions League final. Actually,
55 there was, and we've got 4.
So when it's a corner, why aren't we seeing a view of that incident, say like on the goal line, just off to the side?
Yeah.
So then you'll see literally
what the goalie sees.
We live in the world of Super HD and all this, and we're getting blurred, slowed down, slow motions. Do you know what I mean?
With dodgy, wonky lines for offsides. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. We'll leave it there. It's been a very eventful week in the Premier League. Thank you everybody for watching this video. Drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel. Shaun, a great debate as always. I'll catch you next week.
Okay, mate. Yeah, it's been good.
Thank you very much. Drop a like, subscribe from me. Come on, you eyes, and we'll catch you soon right here on West Ham Official. Cheers, guys, and bye-bye.